everybody, and welcome to the Sweet Talkin' Ponies podcast, your favorite podcast for everything My Little Pony. My name is Casey, also known as Charm in the My Little Pony spaces. My pronouns are he, him, and she, her. Today I am joined by DLP, who uses any pronouns, as well as Saturn, who also uses any pronouns. Welcome to the Sweet Talkin' Pony podcast! Today we're joined by someone new joining us. Would you like to introduce yourself? Tell us about yourself.
Hi, my name is DLP. You can call me Baby Raptor 9 here on YouTube and also on Twitch. And I have been customizing My Little Ponies for 20 years this year. I feel like I'm going to turn into dust any moment, but all we are is dust in the wind. And I'm really happy to be here on this podcast. I love the Sweet Talkin' Ponies podcast, so it is an honor to be here with you both.
Yay!
Thank you for having me.
Hooray! Yeah, I'm happy to have you on here because I feel like a fledgling baby bird in the pony community, and I feel like I need to make more pony friends, and I'm happy to do that.
I look back and I it's hard for me to sit here and say that I've been part of this community for so long. I've been part of the My Little Pony arena before I was a part of the trading post, and before that there was like Wib Rings, and there was the Kim Shriner's Dream Valley, and I had friends in high school that introduced me to customizing. We'll talk about that later, but
yeah.
I mean, for me, it's just, it's kind of a shock sitting here and saying that I've been doing, what is time? And so, and I'm happy to, like, introduce new folks into the pony world. Ponies are awesome. I love collecting My Little Pony. I love customizing My Little Pony. They've always been a source of joy for me, and I'm just happy to share that with everybody else too.
With the introductions out of the way, we're also joined by Saturn and myself. With introductions out of the way, I'm gonna move on to the pony set of the month, where we talk about a cute little pony set every month. This pony set is from 2003, and I think it's our first time discussing a G2 set, the Fantastic Jobs ponies. And these were ponies that were released with little accessories themed around certain jobs. And I specifically wanted to pick this one because Miss Painter is a painting pony who comes with like paint tubes and easels, and I thought that fit the creative theme for this episode. But there's also a Miss Chef who comes with like pans and cooking utensils, and a Miss Teacher who came with a real chalkboard and a real chalk in a real mini notebook that you could actually scribble on.
That's amazing.
And I'll briefly describe. Miss Painter is a green color with yellow and red hair and like a painting palette cutie mark. Miss Teacher is blue with purple and I think pink hair mixed in, with a glasses cutie mark. And Miss Chef, she's pink.
Miss Chef is pink. It's pink all the way down.
I love Miss Painter. There's not enough green ponies in the world.
I need a Christmas card with Miss Painter on it for
Aww.
the My Little Pony Arena. Yes, I think that was last year or the year before. As a trading card for one of my, it was like a Secret Santa kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And they requested Miss Painter, and I've never drawn a G2 before. So that was a lot of fun to do that. But Miss Painter is special to me because of that too.
I also hate to be basic and say Painter is my favorite too, but she is. She is.
You can't beat a bright green pony.
With like really pretty red hair too. But Miss Teacher has the funnest accessories to me, because it's real chalk. Like, that's so funny to me.
That is really cool.
That's high. Yeah, Miss Teacher's styling. Miss Teacher's ready to go.
And I love Miss Teacher. She also has like a tie accessory, so she dresses up fancy. My uncle is a teacher, and he's the type of teacher who has a bunch of funny ties that he wears to.
I have ties that I don't wear. I don't have any shirts to wear them with, but I am prepared for when I do.
Nice. My day job, I am a teacher. So that is funny that you got. I teach earth science normally.
Ooh.
So,
Do you have funny
but
toys?
I don't have a time.
Oh no!
No. Sadly, no.
I'm joking.
I have shirts. I sometimes will wear my Jurassic Park T-shirt and an Aloha shirt over that.
Oh yeah.
People wonder if I've been to Margaritaville, but I don't usually. I'm no Miss Frizzle. I can tell you that right now, and I'm no Miss Teacher. I'm nowhere near that stage. But,
I would be such a good Miss Frizzle because I have a shirt that people already say reminds them of her, and I have red hair. I would be the best Miss Frizzle ever.
I would love for custom ponies based on some of Miss Frizzle's outfits.
I'm stealing that idea right now. Trademarks mine. I'm doing it.
You can't trademark. No.
Well, I already did.
That is fantastic. I could definitely see like a twice as fancy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
with
she would be a twice as fancy. Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm also gonna go into some pony news. More information about the Totally Rad set from Basic Fun. We've got promotional images, like the images that they'll put on the Amazon listing for Firefly and Starshine. But yeah, they have like really vibrant colors. They've got the crimped hair. Something interesting is their eyes have like a little, like the eyes are very much styled after the retro G1 style instead of the original G1 style, which is interesting. I don't hate it. I don't know how I feel about it though.
Yeah, it's not the worst, but it does look kind of strange. I think it definitely looks better on Starshine because she's white, so you can't really tell. But on Firefly, it does kind of look weird.
I like their combs though.
Yeah, that's
The combs
cool.
are very cute. Yeah.
I like the scrunchies.
Yes.
I've always wanted
Yes.
pony-sized scrunchies. They finally did it. It only took 40 years. I love the hair too, the crimped hair.
Yes.
Yes.
That's cool.
I really like the colors on Starshine with that really bright hair. I really want her.
And we only have images of Starshine and Firefly, but the retailer that like got the images and posted them on their website with like coming soon, someone contacted them, and we know that the images of the other two in the set they aren't going to be available yet. It is said that they will have a later release date with these two coming out like slightly sooner, and then Moonstone and Sky Dancer will come out slightly later. No exact release dates yet. I am looking forward to seeing Moonstone. I think she will be my favorite
Yes.
of the set.
Yeah, I definitely think Moonstone will probably be either Starshine or Moonstone will probably be the ones to get for sure. And I love
Yeah, I
Basic
think-
Fun because they're more affordable. I really hope that they carry the line,
Yeah.
honestly, but
Yeah. I think Starshine will be my favorite because I love Starshine.
Yeah.
And I don't have one yet.
Gotta get you one. I also don't have
Yeah.
Starshine.
I've got the plush of Starshine, which is why I love her so much, but I don't have the actual figure.
The issue with the Starshines that I always come across when I'm like shopping for ponies is they always have like the glitter rust. So now's our opportunity to get one in nice condition, but in a different pose.
yeah, that's the thing too. I don't know what pose that is.
I'm pretty
It
sure
might-
Starshine originally had a pose like kind of like Fireflies. Like
Starshine,
I'm pretty sure it
yeah,
was
Starshine I
rearing.
think was in the same pose as Firefly, the rearing Pegasus. That pose, it's either surprise
That's
or
heartthrob. That's like heartthrob surprise pose.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
The interesting thing
It's
about
either
the
surprise or I think whatever the other one is.
Yeah, the interesting thing about the pose that they're using for Firefly, I thought that they changed Starshine's pose so that the leg warmers could more easily go onto her legs, but like with Firefly, they kept the original pose, so one of her leg warmers
she's just got them on one side.
She can't have it on her
front
raised
and back.
hoof.
So she's got one on the front and one on the back.
There was also word that the Rockin' Robin Stranger Things pony will be sold with the Stranger Things Applejack in a 2-pack set. Like, that was a listing information, but there's no photos of that yet. There's no information on the release date yet. But that'll be cool to have another opportunity to get the blue and black-haired Applejack from the Stranger Things collaboration. She's gonna be released again with Rockin' Robin.
I have never seen. I've seen parts of Stranger Things, and I know what it is, but I have not seen the full series.
Yeah.
So I know.
I haven't really seen
it.
any of it. I think the designs are cool, but I don't think I would go for them.
I watched the first season of Stranger Things when it came out, and I don't remember any of it. Like, it's been years, so I don't... I do know that, like, one of the characters in the show likes My Little Pony, and, like, I think it's, like, a period piece, like, it's set back in the day, so, like, there's G1 Pony merch in the show, which is cool.
Yeah.
But
well, I know it's based on Dungeons and Dragons, so, like, I know the kids, so the kids in the 80s... They all get together, they ride their bikes over to this one person's house, and they play D&D. And then the D&D game actually becomes real. I think that is the premise of Stranger Things.
That's cute!
Yeah, it's fun. It's also, but it's horror.
Yeah.
So there's, like, a lot of, there's gore and horror.
I remember that, but that's such a cute premise, though.
It is. I really liked the way that they... and it's funny because around the time the Stranger Things came out, I think, is when we were all stuck inside, and around that time I started playing D&D.
Yeah, D&D got a big boost in popularity around that time, because that was also when a bunch of, like, online podcasty type D&D shows became popular.
So Stranger Things kind of pulls on that. And I know Stranger Things also had a thing with Ghostbusters, too. I think they had because of they had like a Halloween episode or something. So like I'm aware of it, but I don't. It's funny. I'm aware of it. And I know of the characters and the basic plot, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about it.
Right.
I know them from Fortnite.
Okay.
Are they in Fortnite?
Okay.
I think 11 is.
Oh, I know 11 because she was like popular.
Yeah, 11. She's in Fortnite, and she gets I think she has a waffle emote, and I think she also might have waffle back bling, which is like a cosmetic you wear on your back.
She was the most memorable. She's the part of the show I remember the most. She was like this kid. I don't remember if she was like being experimented on or something, but she was like kind of like a social outcast. They like rescued her from a lab facility, and she like has psychic powers, and she loves Eggo waffles, and that's all I remember.
Yep, and that's why the Eggo waffles are in Fortnite, and that's why that's all I know about her.
11 is like, I think in the game world she's like the wizard or the mage or something. Like each of the characters has a class.
Yeah.
And all that. So, but and I think that translates into the upside down and all that stuff. It's like I know about it, and I think it's interesting how for the My Little Pony thing they chose to do Applejack.
Yes.
Of all the ponies.
Well, I've seen a screenshot from the show, and I know that one of the girl character who likes My Little Pony, they invite her into her D&D game, because I've seen a screenshot where she's like, my character is gonna be named Applejack, and she's a mage or whatever. Like I'm pretty sure that's a detail in the show. I'm pretty sure Applejack is name dropped.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's interesting how they...
Which is
out of all the ponies.
Yeah. I don't want to dwell on this too long because I don't want to take forever, but there has been a really rather interesting announcement that people were upset about it when I saw it, but they announced that Hasbro wanted to work a variety article came out where Hasbro said they were going to work with Amazon and MGM to make a live-action My Little Pony movie. What does that mean? I don't know. What do you mean by live-action ponies? Are they going to be hyper-realistic horses? Or is it going to be like a live-action animation hybrid like Hop or Sonic or Smurfs?
Or is it going to be The Lion King, where it isn't live action at all? It's just realistic CG, which you cannot do with ponies, because believe it or not, they are not realistic horses.
I think that'd be funny, though.
That would be hilarious. I would see that. I'd see that just for the irony. Just
Yeah,
to be like,
I worry that might be what they might mean.
the Shetland
Like
ponies.
that's the fear that it's
But
just
that's not live action.
really realistic CG. Yeah, it isn't, and they don't even have the excuse of it looking live action like The Lion King does, because yes, it's still CG, but it is at least the models are at least real lions. And it's really, really realistic, but you can't do that with ponies, so it would just be really high definition CG backgrounds and then pony. But I
That
think
would be the best. I swear, like if they get the coat colors, like they do the whole, they do the crazy like AI colors and stuff with the coat. And it's like just a pony, just like a Shetland pony or like a
realistic.
standard yeah, right, actual horse.
that could be very fun.
That would be hilarious.
I think another thing that would be really cute is if it is like the Sonic movies and they bring back human characters like Megan, and it's this human kid getting to meet ponies. Would be really adorable.
Yeah, because I would love like stylized, like if you're not gonna do hyper realistic ponies, then I think what they're gonna do is like kind of cartoony, like Sonic's live action movies. Like he's kind of cartoony still.
Yeah, he's got the cartoony shapes, but like the realistic textures.
So I can see them doing something like that with ponies, and they interact with a bunch of little kids, or that would be cute.
That would be the ideal situation. I don't think it's going to happen, but I would love for that to happen.
I think if it was something like the Minecraft movie, it would be fine. Of, boom, you're in My Little Pony world now, kid. I think that would be fine.
Yeah.
As long as it's made with a little bit more love for MLP. Because I don't doubt that the Minecraft movie is fun to watch, but it doesn't feel like it was made with love for Minecraft. And yes, I'm a boomer and I've been playing it for a while, so I remember when Minecraft was really lonely, but I still play it. So I've played the really busy, full of everything, full of life Minecraft, and it still just isn't accurate to the game.
I'm kind of glad I skipped that. I don't know, because I think I'm the oldest person here.
Yeah.
No.
I didn't watch it either, but I have friends who did.
I love Jack Black and Jason Momoa as much as the next person. But I'm sorry.
I'm kind of tired of him being the only celebrity in all of these new like video game movies. Like, can we get some new people?
Especially because I think they kind of want him to just be silly. When I don't particularly care for him much as a person, but he is a good actor. He has played goofy characters who still have, some serious moments really well. He's in The Holiday, he plays one of the love interests in this Christmas romance movie. And he's a realistic goofy guy, but also his girlfriend goes and cheats on him, and there's that, emotional seriousness, and he plays really well. He can have a lot of depth as a character, but everyone is just like, make him be really goofy over the top, and it's like,
well,
he doesn't have to be.
The thing is, I feel like a lot of like movie adaptations, they don't want people to play the characters anymore. They just want the celebrities playing themselves.
Yeah, they don't want to put effort into making a good, well-written character. So it's just, well, everybody loves this actor, so just put the actor in.
That's why I like the Sonic 3 movie. I like the Sonic movies because They're written
Idris Elba and Keanu Reeves
well.
are famous, but they play the characters really well.
Yeah. They research the characters and they play them well, and they play well together.
Yeah.
And I think,
they wanted to get celebrities, but they picked ones who could play the characters really well. Idris Elba and Keanu Reeves are Knuckles and Shadow.
Right.
They just are.
Like, no, yeah, and I agree with you, and I also feel that Ben Schwartz is Sonic.
Yes,
he
does a really good Sonic.
Although, to me, Jaleel White will always be
Yeah.
my Sonic at heart, and then followed by Jason Griffin.
Yeah.
Oh, that's my
Personally, I
you better take that out.
Casey, she can recognize each different Sonic voice. Me, I'm really bad at that. Like, I can hear every single different one in a row, and I won't be able to tell the difference because they play the characters really well. They have different voices. They aren't doing the same voice, but they are playing Sonic.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, yeah, that's Sonic. He's always sounded like that. He's never had a different voice. That's Sonic the Hedgehog. That's just how he sounds.
Well, that's
me,
just indicative of good voice acting.
Yeah, they've picked people who play him well.
And I was saying though, like with the My Little Pony movie, I don't think this is going to be written. I mean, this is my take on it, and this is kind of a hot take.
Mm-hmm.
I love My Little Pony. I've loved even the old school, like the 90s pony version, the cartoon, the My Little Pony Tales. I used to watch that when I was a kid, which is how our pony sonas are on the screen.
Yeah.
And I loved the My Little Pony movie, the original one, Escape from Katrina. I watched that until the tape ran out. I was very much, and it's funny because the original My Little Pony storyline was a lot darker and a lot more serious. And then it turned into like girly, cutesy tea party time. And that has, I mean, I understand it because it's the audience of My Little Pony is geared towards little kids, in particular, girls, right? Or femme presenting people. And that's usually, that tends to be where we are. And then I worry that with this movie, they're just going to pick up where G4 and G5 left off. And they're not really going to tell. They're not going to really tell a new story that's going to deepen and connect to the lore. And I'm just, they're not going to revive it.
Yeah.
Whereas with the Sonic movies, I feel that they were respectful enough to the original content in writing, where it made sense with the video games.
Yeah.
Whereas
they mimic the stories from the games, but they're still making their own thing with it.
Right, and I don't think this is going to happen with My Little Pony at all.
I've definitely noticed that with G5 and then a lot of their canceled stuff trying to figure out the next generation because they decided Generation 5 was a failure, even though I think it's their own fault that it failed. They don't really want to let go of Generation 4, and that's the big fear because Generation 4 was really awesome, really amazing. It's over and done with, and you are kind of shooting My Little Pony in the foot to not let go of it because we have already seen the Generation 4 characters. We already know what they're about. You gotta kind of give something new.
Yeah.
And you gotta kind of also market it better to little kids in the first place.
Well,
because I don't think they did well getting little kids interested in it, even though they did switch to YouTube, which the little kids love. I still think they did a really bad job.
My take.
But it's my
take on the live action My Little Pony movie, and I say this as someone who loves film, loves animation, and I love it from a very analytical point of view. Like, I love dissecting the themes of stories, critically analyzing it. I went to school for a period of time. I was studying to be like a storyboard artist. I've gone to a documentary academy. I've made documentaries for PBS. Like, I love filmmaking, and I understand people's criticism of like live action, the recent live action animated craze, especially with Disney, because a lot of them are just remaking movies just for money, just for nostalgia. And I can see My Little Pony falling into that trap, but I also want to say there's no word on a creative team or anything yet. They have not made anything. They are just announcing the idea of this, so it may or may not even come to be. So I'm just my view is I don't have an opinion until I see more information, because there are ways that a live action animated hybrid could work. It could be fun and creative, but that only happens if they're going to put the effort in, and I have no idea what effort is going to be put in. So I'm abstaining from forming an opinion until I see more information about it.
My main doubts for whether it's going to be good or not isn't about it being live action, because I completely believe that it does have the potential to be really good. It's mainly Hasbro. I don't trust Hasbro to make it good. So I want to be hopeful that it could be good, but also I know Hasbro. So I don't have much faith, but I want to be hopeful that it could be.
I want to say, like, well, Hasbro did partner with, say, Steven Spielberg for Bumblebee.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, there is, if they reach out to the right, like Casey was saying, if you reach out to the right team and make it, and I think that seems to be, and I also talk about movies on my YouTube channel too. I complained about Jurassic World Rebirth for 45 minutes, and that's because the story was lacking. And that's the one thing that I worry about with any of these new things with, like, My Little Pony too. Like, I'm like, if the story is good, I think kids and adults will like it. And I think that's also the key to, like, the success of these live action movies like the Sonic movies, is because the story is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Sonic movies, they had an idea. Because Sonic had never, like, Sonic had been animated before. There are some animated Sonic movies, but not in recent times until the live-action ones, and they were doing something new with it. Like, they were like, okay, Sonic in the real world, but how would he realistically react with, like, the real world compared to the Sonic world? Like, they made the story make sense, and they referenced the games enough to where it makes sense, to where, like, there's a lot of, like, live-action animated movies that, like, they aren't the worst things in the world, but if I were a parent and my child wanted to watch it, I would probably get a headache, like Hop or something, like, because it's just not that deep. It's just, like, silly cartoon characters. And I feel like that could work for Ponies just because it's a younger target. It doesn't need to be something amazing, but it could be something great if they tried.
Yeah.
And I agree. I hope that happens. That's, like, the ideal. That's the ideal situation. And I honestly, I've already seen some of the discourse in the My Little Pony forums that I'm on, and I can tell you right now, a lot of people are upset.
Yeah.
And even just from the proposed idea. And so I don't think it's going to... I don't know. It may be in development hell, which is a shame.
I saw that across everything. Across all the forums I was on, across Tumblr, people are immediately pessimistic of it. And I understand
I completely get that. Yeah, because live action hasn't had a good track record recently.
Live action animation specifically, like the hype.
Yeah, taking things, you know, beloved franchises that typically are animated and making live action movies, they don't have a good track record. So I completely get it, but I also think, you know, at least wait a little. You know, give it a chance.
I think the only thing that would work is something like the Barbie movie. Like,
the Barbie movie. I was thinking about that.
Yeah. If it's, like, tongue-in-cheek, and they have a because we're already, that seems to be the trend that Hollywood is going in right now. And I'm like, well, why don't they just pull a Barbie on the Ponies? And I think that would be funny.
I think, I thought that would be one of the other ways it could work, too. If it's, like, some real girls growing up with My Little Pony, maybe talk about, like, how ponies influence their life, but, like, it's like a story with people focused, but, like, they're very much involved with the toys. I don't know. It's just kind of a weird idea. Like, you think, what properties can we turn live action? And I don't know why the cartoon rainbow horses.
It's really hard to imagine what they do with it, because it's just such a vague concept. Because all we know is they're considering live action.
I think it'd be better if they did something like you were saying, Saturn, earlier. Like they did,
Like-
Super Mario, the
have-
Super Mario movie, or Teenage
Okay.
Mutant Ninja Turtles, or something. You know, like something like that. If they did it animated, fully animated, I think that would be a better draw because that's how it works, and that's My Little Pony.
Yeah, I
has always
think
been-
a fully animated movie would work best just because it's ponies. But
Yeah.
I think if they were to do live action, I think having it be like Detective Pikachu or Sonic or Hop or Smurfs, all of that stuff. I think that would be the best way to make it work live action.
Yeah.
Is to have it be that sort of thing.
My only concern with My Little Pony 2 is that there are, and this is what I complain about with the Jurassic World thing, but there's just so many characters with My Little Pony.
Yeah,
and my biggest
yeah.
concern is like, which ones are they gonna focus on? And
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are already suspecting they're gonna just reference G4, and then they're not even gonna focus on.
Yeah, I feel like the big concern is that they're going to be Pinkie Pie, Twilight Sparkle, Rainbow Dash again,
Yeah.
Either that,
and then
either that
ponies.
or whatever they're doing for Gen 6, because like a movie like this is going to be in production for a few years, so by
Yeah.
the time it comes out, I
If it's-
fully believe
if it's a movie to introduce Generation 6, that would be really cool.
but we don't know.
Because I think that
We don't know anything.
I think that
Yeah.
was something really cool that they did with Generation 5, introducing it with a movie. I think that was really cool.
But then
But
they kind of fell off.
I don't know.
They fell off. See,
Yeah.
That's the thing. I think
yeah.
that's why so many pony fans are so jaded right now, is because of what happened with G5, because it did fall off. And I think
Yeah,
it's as a longtime pony person myself, it's hard to watch that, because I also I did watch the G5 movie, and I thought it was really cute, and I
Mhm.
thought, wow, they're really doing something here.
yeah.
I liked it. And then the cartoon or whatever series that they did afterwards,
It wasn't like
I just don't
that.
think it appealed.
Yeah, they did a 3D
No.
cartoon show, and then they gave up on that one and switched to just the 2D YouTube one with really lackluster animation.
And that
and
was
it's
like
just, I
5
feel
minute
like-
shorts.
Yeah, I feel like one, it kind of suffered from the same thing Generation 2 did, of it's really hard to come and be the next generation after one that's so big.
Yeah.
It's just hard to live up to that. And then I also think Hasbro just gave up on it because they got way too used to, oh my god, Generation 4, this big old powerhouse of money, let's make another one. And then it struggled because, again, it's a big change, and I think they made a lot of poor choices with it. And then I think they just gave up on it and were like, okay, well, maybe we can bring Generation 4 back. And everyone's like, no, don't do that. I think
Well,
Generation
a lot
5
of-
could have done a lot better.
I do think a
'Cause
lot of
it had so
bronies
much
want to see
potential, and then they
G4
just
again.
Threw it out. Yeah, which I think is kind of annoying. And I don't mean to be rude, but it honestly is. Like, yes, it was really good and really awesome, but it's time for another generation.
I think
Had a really long
Yeah,
time. And it's just
I
kind of
never.
move on now,
But the thing
please.
is, yeah, I think we should, because I could go on about brony stuff. I personally am not a brony.
Yeah.
I did love G4. I did love collecting them for a little while, but it never stuck with me because it's not. I didn't grow up with it, and so to me, like it's not the same. And I understand they're probably trying to appeal to the kids that are now adults that grew up during the brony, during the brony years. And so, because I think 2010, right?
Yeah, I think what it is when Generation 5 started, they didn't want to do that, but then they were like, wait, we missed our Generation 4 money, so now they're like, wait, bronies, come back, please, we're sorry.
And I think part of that, I feel like it's disillusioning little kids from the franchise, because like apparently I'm not a parent, so I'm not a voice of authority on this, but like I don't think kids nowadays are connecting with ponies as much as they did with like
Yeah.
previous generations. Like they have such a small space on the toy shelf, and it's just
Not as
as prominent.
That was part of what I was saying. I think they just aren't marketing it to little kids very well, because you see all these other brands that are really big on the shelf, and it's like, well, clearly you can still market to kids.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Hasbro just doesn't. I think Hasbro was just making all the wrong decisions with trying to get the kids interested.
So, now we can move into the actual episode topic. Woo! And
Hooray, finally!
Today we're going to be talking about My Little Pony Customs. So we should briefly explain what customs even are. Customized My Little Ponies are, well, they're ponies that people have customized with new elements using, like, craft materials. So, like, sometimes they're painted or dyed, or they're given new hair or new features with clay, that kind of thing, right?
Yep.
No, you're wrong, actually. No.
Ah!
Hey! No, so I like to think of customs in a very poetic way. I think of custom ponies as where the vinyl pony is your canvas.
Yes.
And you basically create a new creature from the pony. Customizing can be just turning the pony into something a little bit different or something completely different. And it's more than just paint, of the body. Usually it's the eye color, the symbols. For me, like, every custom pony that I make has meaning to it. For me, a lot of my custom ponies are actually personal. And so for me, and I think that makes sense because it's an art form.
Yeah.
And I know that custom ponies are not the first doll to be customized. There's an entire community online with doll customization.
Oh yeah.
There's
that's one of the
dolls.
That's one of the things I wanted to get into, like, briefly, was, like, the history of customizing. It's pretty intertwined with the more general doll collecting community, right? Where people have been making dolls for a long time.
Right. I mean, people have been customizing Barbie dolls and other, dolls for hundreds of years.
Yes.
They've probably been around since forever.
I wanted to find specific sources about this, and I couldn't because there aren't a lot of write-ups on the history of doll customizing. The earliest thing I did find was like a 1998 review of a new doll that was coming out where people were like, oh, this specific brand is being bought specifically to be customized because people don't like it as an actual doll, but they do like it as custom paint. But, like, that was the earliest source I could find, and it's not even really a source, but I know that, like, one of my aunts, her like mother was kind of customizing her dolls with, like, the clothes that they would wear all the way back in, like, the 70s and stuff. So, like, and art dolls have existed for a long time, like, just making dolls as art pieces.
It can, I think it probably has been a thing since as long as dolls have been a thing, because it's kind of just a thing people want to do, to personalize the doll and make them their own in some sort of way.
Right. And I would say that in terms of the pony customization world, I would say that really began in the late 90s, early 2000s, along with the Barbie doll craze. Around that time is when the pony situation was pretty big online. And so I would say that around that time, too, is when there was a lot of customization that was happening. And it was done mostly as, like, through web rings, I remember, and through forums like the My Little Pony Arena or like the My Little Pony Trading Post.
Yeah.
Those places have been online for decades. And so I think that it's very much intertwined, not just with the doll community, but also within the pony community too, where customizing ponies is kind of like the gateway to collecting, because often when you customize a pony, it's from a vintage pony that you've collected, maybe G1, G2, G3. Now, some people customize the newer ones, the G4s, G5s.
Yeah.
I have a couple myself that I've done that are G4. And I find those actually very hard to do.
Yeah.
Those are a nightmare. The G4s, because their bodies are so small.
Yeah.
But the G1s, the G2s, like those tend to be the ones that I see the most in terms of customization, and that tends to be something. And then it also gets into now with the HQ G1C ponies, the replica ones that they're doing, the G2 redo ponies too that they're doing, where we're looking into now not just creating custom ponies just for the fun of it, just with paint and traditional supplies, clay and things like that, but now we're actually using resin and silicone and just actually making 3D printing
Yeah.
and actually making a pony.
And there's a lot more resources for it.
Oh yeah, than there were even like a decade ago. Like there's so much now. I mean, even with 3D printing especially, I think is probably going to be the way forward with a lot of designs. I can see that happening, although it's very expensive still and difficult to get the materials for and difficult to get the good files. You got to be good with Blender to make those
check your local libraries for 3D printers. You still have to pay, but a lot of libraries have them. Check your local library.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. It's
yeah, I don't know about other states, but where Casey and I live, a lot of libraries, at least like the big main ones of the branches, will have a 3D printer.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. I'll have to look into that. I've never seen that. Not in my neighborhood. Not in my library anymore. But no, that's really cool. Yeah, but 3D printing though, yeah, I mean, I think that's probably going to be, but beyond that, I mean, from the very beginning though, I mean, customization, I think, like Saturn said, is about you're personalizing it. So like you're telling a story, with the pony, and I think that that's something that makes it different from the mass-produced ponies that we have, like with Starshine and Firefly being redone for the Totally Rad line. It's different because the ponies themselves are truly unique to the artist.
Yeah.
And, or maybe the design or the collaboration that's done to bring the piece to life. And so, yeah, I definitely think that in terms of its past, I would say, though, that customizing ponies, that seems to be a more recent thing. If we're talking in, like, terms of, like, I would say definitely all the time I've been doing it. So like 25 years, I would say, probably pushing back to the 90s if we really want to push. I think probably that's customization really reached its peak in the early 2000s, and then there's still many people that customize.
Yeah.
But I find that more people tend to, in the pony community, restore ponies or collect them rather than customize them. And that's always been true, but I find that, in particular, when I first started doing this, I found that there were a lot more people in community that customized. And nowadays, like, I just think it's interesting. Like,
yeah,
maybe that's because a lot of us are getting older.
Yeah.
we don't have the energy anymore. A lot of folks, but I don't know. I mean, but I've always loved it, and I still loved it. Custom ponies are they're interesting. It is interesting though. I wouldn't mind looking more into that. Like, maybe I'll write a book like Hazel Dan did with Teenage Ninja Turtles.
Well, do you think some of it might be because of rising cost of how much it might take to get materials or like bases and stuff like that?
It could be, yeah, because and the market for vintage toys.
Mm-hmm.
Always is fluctuating. It's always fluctuating. It's never been constant. There's always been ups and downs with it. And so some years you'll be able to find G1 ponies for like $5-10, and then other years you'll find them for $50 or $100.
Yeah.
do you really want to spend? You really want to plunk down $100 to take the pony's head off and tear the hair out and then redo it? And I think a lot of people, and I think, but then it's kind of like that same. It's like the writer's block phenomenon, where you got the blank page, and some people stop and they stay there. And I think there's a moment when you create where you just have to push through. And I think that, even with the cost of everything, I think if there's a will, there's a way. And I think some people, like me, I continue to customize, and, the nice thing is, too, about a lot of vintage ponies, we're very fortunate in that now there's a rise in thrift stores.
Yes.
So that seems to be a thing. So, and sometimes you get lucky and you'll find vintage toys at thrift stores that are not in the best condition that you could easily use as what we call bait for a project, to turn that custom around into a new pony.
I also wonder if it has something to do with, like, maybe this is, like, looking at the internet space too much, but, like, I feel like the internet is becoming a little bit more, like, corporate. There's less customization of, like, our own websites, of our own, like, blogs, of, like, our own sites where we might display that stuff. And I feel like people are just, I don't want to say people are being less creative, but I feel like when I was younger in, like, the 2000s, 2010s, that kind of stuff, it was a lot more prominent for people to, like, be into making original characters and that kind of stuff. And I feel like I just see less of it now, but maybe I'm just not, maybe I'm just jaded.
Right. I mean, I agree with you. I think that, and I think it's interesting. Like I said, I think it just comes and goes in waves.
Yeah.
So I think right now we're probably just seeing the wave of conformity, where a lot of people, they want to stay within their recognized fandoms. They don't want to, and again, it has to do too, maybe it's a combination. I think it's a combination of that and also the rising costs that people use. But here's the thing, though. I love a YouTube artist called Super Ray Dizzle, and Ray is notorious for going to the Dollar Tree, finding the cheapest art supplies possible, and making masterpieces with them. And they're like, see, you can make art too if you put in the time and the work to do it. And I think that's probably what holds some people back, is the fact that it takes effort, and no, your first pony that you make is not going to be like the best pony ever. My first custom pony looks like a complete disaster, but I love him dearly. My Remember When It Rained Josh pony, he's a mess. His hair is dyed and cut everywhere all weird, and his neck has a big gash in it from the X-Acto knife.
Oh no.
His paint is gloppy and not perfect, and yet I love that pony because that was the one that I started with. And sure, now, like, the ponies I make now are vastly better. That's because there's 20 years worth of time that I've invested. And I think that's the other thing, too. It could be because because we live in an increasing age of convenience, people don't want to make the time and effort into the struggle of making a beautiful piece and working on that. And at the same time, I think that in that way, it's even more invaluable. I think we need artists now more than ever in this day and age, for sure. I think, and custom ponies are a part of that process.
Yeah.
It's a part of that expression where, and especially now, we should not be stifling ourselves for what? for nobody, right?
Yeah.
And I think that it's fun to try a new hobby. And I think the other thing is too, because of the cost and the time, like, people think, oh, well, if I make something, I have to sell it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
There's like an increase in people thinking they have to commodify their art.
Right. And I can understand it from one hand.
First and foremost, your art should be for you.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I can understand it on the one hand, where you're like, if you need to make a living.
Yeah.
And a lot of folks that are artists, that's our dream, is to make a living with our art. It's like the big Hollywood dream of being a celebrity or something, right?
Yeah.
People have that same dream when they become an artist. They're like, yeah, I'll make money with my art, and this is what I'll live on, and I'll get to do what I love forever. And then you realize that when you're an artist and you're doing what you love, actually it's a job. Congrats. It's no longer, and especially if you start selling it. But also too, like, to recognize that, you don't have to. This hobby, you do not have to turn it into a selling point, and I think maybe that's what stops a lot of people too.
Mm-hmm.
Is because they look at talented customizers and they think, oh my gosh. Like when I was a kid, I looked at Akerin and Woozy, and there's Love Laura Land,
mm-hmm.
and there's a few other customizers that are no longer on the internet, and Pink Kitty Winks, I think, is another one that I really like.
Yeah.
And their custom ponies are what pulled me in the first place. I mean, I saw their beautiful sculptures and creation stuff. I'm like, wow. I'm like, I would love to do that. And I knew when I started, because I already am an artist, I already knew, I was like, okay, if I do this, I'm nowhere near going to be like that at the beginning. Mine's gonna look like a crayon drawing compared to you can't take your crayon drawing and compare it to the Sistine Chapel. You can't. So I think that's what a lot of people are doing, is they're seeing all these beautiful artists and they think, gosh, and it takes a lot of work and dedication to get there, and that's because you're passionate about what you're doing. And I think that, and I think that for me, the love of the pony started when I was a kid anyway. And so it just carried over naturally into the art that I made. Yeah, I think that's probably what seems daunting to people, especially when you're starting out with this hobby. When you're starting out customizing and you see what other people have done, especially people that have been doing it for 20 plus years like me, people are like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Like, I'll never be like that. And then they don't do it.
Yeah.
And to me, I'm like, no, you need to. We need your voice too. And I think a thing that we need to do more of in community is to lift other people up as well, like to encourage up and coming new artists to keep going. And that's the one thing I do love about the My Little Pony community, is that we've always done that.
Yeah.
Versus other communities, versus social media, where I think that, maybe this trend of not customizing stuff is because, a lot of social media, they tend to push conformity and they tend to push corporate agendas and stuff. But I think that when you get into the homegrown, grassroots, traditional forms like we still have with pony stuff, I think and even on social media too, it's important to stress, it's okay, to express yourself in the messy, imperfect way that you are. Even now, there's costumes that I make now that I think are garbage and that are not good. And there's a lot of my customs, actually, there's some that don't even see the light of day. And that's because I think, and I think it's important for artists to recognize, it's a process. And in that imperfection, there is beauty. And I think that's a big draw for me. That's why I really like making the ponies themselves. And like I said, there's a lot of personal meaning behind each pony that I make. I love making custom ponies just in general. I've been doing this as a hobby for so long, and it keeps me going.
Mm-hmm.
And all the dumpster fire that the world is right now, this hobby of taking a little pony and turning it into a pony of my own is something that I've always, enjoyed doing. At least for the past 20 years or so, since I was in high school, many moons ago.
I feel like that's pretty universal for all types of art too. You see that with people who are who draw or write or something, but they think if they do something, it has to be good or perfect or something. You don't even have to make art good. Art doesn't have to be good. It just has to be.
It doesn't have to be good. It just has to be.
And I do think the more you do it, the more you'll improve as you practice, but you'd also don't even have to improve. Like, just make art for whatever reason fulfills you, like if you're inspired by something. And I do think that the community, from what I've seen, they're pretty generally supportive of people of like varying skill levels of customs. People are still like wow, this is your first one, it looks pretty good, here's some like tips, here's some resources for learning more about custom making, but I like this and that about your custom too. Like, I feel like that's something I enjoy, at least on the forums that I've seen. People tend to be pretty supportive.
I agree. I mean, I think, and like I said, I mean, I think that's probably what helped keep me going early on, was I had so many wonderful people that said, wow, your art is cool, even if it kind of sucked.
Mm-hmm.
If there's something that they liked about it, they told me, and I said, okay, and that encouraged me to keep going. And I think, yeah, I mean, I think that's really important. And like you were saying too, like I told you before as well, like there's a lot of feeling that goes into the art that I make. And I think that's, unlike you were saying too, I mean, that's true of any art,
Mm-hmm.
right? But for me, for ponies, some of my favorite pony pieces, like my Sonic ponies that I've made, including the one I made for you, Casey, and then my Pony Sona chocolate starfire that you can see on the screen in the Sweet Talkin' Ponies podcast screen, and just out of all the ponies that I've made, each one that I make has meaning. Each one that I make has depth and connection to me that matters in some way, whether that's to family that's no longer with me, or whether that's to pets that are no longer with me, or whether that's to, past relationships, other people, like what they liked, and also, what I like too. And I think in that way, like, ponies serve as a way of connecting people. And I really think that, My Little Pony customization is a big part of that process in the community too. Is like, you're showing people a part of yourself or a side of yourself that you don't normally show. And I think, and as in, like, I really like stars, or I really like I really like space, or I really like dinosaurs, or I really like sharks, or I really like, pretty much, I really like flowers, or I really like stamp collecting, or whatever, whatever it is. You can translate that into a design for a My Little Pony.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people don't realize that. Like, a lot of people just think, oh, it's like the standard girly stuff, like, not to bash Miss Jeff over here, but pink and and purple and cupcakes and dreams and wishes. That's usually how people see My Little Pony. And to me, like, I see it as no. Like, to me, I see it as that pony is your canvas.
Yeah.
That pony could be a part of you, and you can project whatever it is that you desire, that you enjoy, onto that pony. And then when you put it out in the world, it's no longer yours. Now another person can see it and go, hey, I really like that pony. I connect with it.
And get inspiration from it.
Right. Or it serves as a reminder of, like I was saying before, I know this is kind of dark and like macabre now, but it's like family or a friend or someone that was dear to people. In the customizing community, unfortunately, we had someone pass away very recently.
Yes.
Named No Division. And they were a fantastic artist. I knew them for years online. And I only knew them online. And I was shocked to hear about their passing. And now the only way that we will really remember that person is through, besides their family connections that they had, is through the art that they made.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's so important, as a customizer still in the community and even outside of it, to, just keep making your art, because you never know, like, what impact your art will have,
Yeah.
like, in the years down the line. You really don't. You have no idea. Like, the art that you make, the stuff that you put forward, the intentions that you have. And even if it's funny because even if you absolutely hate the piece, like, you're like, oh, I hate that pony, I wish I never made it.
A lot of people...
somebody else is going to come along.
Yeah, a lot of people are
like,
disparaging to themselves, but, like, you never know what part of your art will connect to others. Put it forth with confidence.
Right, the other person will be like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. You're like, really? I hated that. And they're like, it's the best. I want more of it. And you're like, okay. And, it's one of those things where I think that's also the really fun part about doing this is, for me, it's fun to see how people are connecting to the work that I make with these ponies. Mm-hmm. And, the stories that I tell. Because what I really like, Casey, about your podcast and your channel is that you tell stories with your ponies. Like, it's more than just, here's the aesthetic of the pony. No, there's a whole backstory to the ponies that you got and the characters that you create. And it's your own. It's not like somebody, it's not like the back card on the it's not the back card of the box.
Yeah.
That you're reading off of. It's actually, there's a whole world to the ponies themselves. And I think that's a big part of My Little Pony too, the spirit of My Little Pony, that I really hope, going back to the movie thing, I really hope they do that. That would be cool, ideal, if they connected it back to, this is why Pony is special. It's because you can see yourself, in that character. And, in creating Pony Zonas, in creating customs, in creating original characters, I think that's the most important thing, is that part of you is in that.
Yeah, I think that's, like, a big part of, like, just the human condition. Sorry to get all philosophical, but like,
no, that's fine.
That's something that humans do. Like, a lot of that's kind of the point of dolls. Like, even when they came out, like, right. People project personalities, and that's, like, standard play. Like, that's something that, like, you make it your own by having a history with it, if that makes sense.
No, it does. No, it does. And that's why kids play with dolls to begin with. That's why they collect and that's why they play with them. Because in that doll, like, that is a reflection and extension. It's a reflection of who that person is, in a way. And it's also, in a way, an extension of, like, and also expression of, like, little kids, when they play, that's what they do. They talk about they reenact their day.
Yeah.
Right, with their toys. And I think custom ponies are, like, one step further, where now you are actually injecting, like, actually part of yourself into that character. And so it makes that moment of play that much more meaningful, I think. That much more special.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I like doing it. Because it's like, gosh, as a kid, I would have loved having, that much fun with it. And it's cool because what I think is the coolest part about customizing is when the project is actually done and you see it completed and it's there and it's like, wow, it's there now. It's alive now. It's yours.
It's always satisfying to complete some art and see what it's become.
Right. And I think that's probably that, for me, that rush of going, wow, I did that, and wow, that's cool looking, and wow, I want to do that again, but I need to take a break first or whatever. But, because I don't, so the thing is, like, I think a lot of people think that with customizing, maybe part of the reason why they don't want to do it is because they think I have to churn out, like, customs, because some people do. There was a YouTuber that I used to watch called Mandy Pandy Custom Ponies or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they had, like, every day.
Oh, wow.
They did a new pony. Oh, yeah. Like, it was more than just, like, once a week. And I was like, that sets an expectation that people cannot ever reach. And,
yeah, you could get burned out if you do that.
Right. Like, I think that's the other thing, too, that why people shy away from doing creative stuff like customizing ponies is because they think about the output rather than experiencing the meditative joy of it.
Mm-hmm.
They think about, like, I have to make, like, so many. It's like, you're not a factory.
It's also kind of intimidating if you've never made a custom before and you don't know exactly what goes into it. People might be like, "Oh, what? That's so many steps. I wouldn't even know where to start." So they don't even look into it.
Right. And I think that, that's the other thing too. I don't think people realize just how, honestly, it is somewhat accessible of a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
I think probably the hardest part of customizing, to me anyway, is the hair. Is acquiring the doll hair. I mean, nowadays it's better. Nowadays it's better than it was when I was younger. I used to use floss.
Oh yeah.
And needle. And that, and you just sat there and you punched holes into your pony for a long time. Nowadays, it's like, now there's tools that you can buy online that do it, practically for you. Now, like, I mean, you can watch tutorials and they'll teach you. But the hair, I think the doll hair, acquiring that, and then, that's not exactly cheap per se, but then you have to know how much to use, and I think that also kind of puts people off from these kinds of hobbies. It can get pricey in that way, I think. But at the same time, like I said, I mean, there's no feeling like, having a finished pony. And I actually, as I'm speaking with you, I'm messing around with my pony Sona's hair. I wasn't talking with you. But yeah, I mean, having that finished pony there. But no, I mean, collecting it and then finding the base for the design and then taking all the paint off, and that part of it isn't too bad.
Yeah.
So when you take the paint off the eyes, you can take the paint off the eyes
with like acetone.
Nail polish remover, and then the paint itself. Thankfully, acrylic paint that you use to paint them is cheap.
Yeah.
You can find acrylic paint at, like, even
Walmart.
Well, I wouldn't say dollar store. Walmart probably be the lowest bottom of the barrel, or Michaels too. They run sales all the time and they sell it for super cheap.
Mm-hmm.
If you've got a Michaels near you, but I would say if you don't have a Michaels near you, Walmart probably be your next best bet. Target surprisingly doesn't really have a whole lot in the way of. They do now, but they didn't used to. So I wouldn't. That's hit or miss. But I know Walmart has a dedicated craft section, and they probably would be a good place to go.
I get cheap paint from Walmart.
Oh yeah,
like it's cheap, but it works. If you don't want to like invest in expensive materials, like there's no shame in that.
No, I mean, and I've collected paint for years. Mm-hmm. I mean, the paint that I use to make the ponies now, that's been sitting in my box for probably over a decade, honestly. Acrylic paint lasts a long time.
You touched a little bit on this before, but I think it'd be fun to go into the different types of customs there are. Like, there are completely original custom characters, there's pony sonas, there's even just changing a character to have one new unique feature, like having new hair, or having a different color symbol, or like taking a pony and changing what generation it is. I think it'd be fun to like touch on those type of topics. Because there's so many different types of customs.
There are. I mean, I tend to go with. So I think of it this way. I think in terms of the most basic customization that you can do is what we call restore or rehair. So basically, if your pony is not a total goner, meaning that the body is it's fairly intact, like the eyes are okay, the symbol's okay, and you don't want to mess with it, like if you don't really want to mess with any of that stuff and you just want to say add a new color to the hair, or maybe you want to clean up, maybe you want to repaint it a little bit, but you don't want to fully repaint the pony. So you have options. You don't have to do like a full repaint. You don't have to sculpt anything. No. Like, you can start off with a very basic, very simple restoration type of customization. And I think it's funny too, because some folks, like, they're like, well, but I'm restoring it. I'm like, technically you're customizing it.
If you're changing it. Yeah. You're
adding hair, or you're changing out the hair. You're congratulations, you made a custom. that's what you've done. So if you haven't, done those things, that's what I'm thinking of. And then, so that's the most, to me, that's basic. Like, that's like the starting point. Then you transition into maybe something like, if you want to get a little bit more complicated, then you would take off the symbols, take off the eyes, and try your hand at repainting them yourself. So the body color would be the same, and I'm doing that with my current Bill and Ted ponies. So I'm making ponies based on the Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure characters, Ted Theodore Logan and Bill S. Preston Esquire. Happy birthday to Alex Winter, by the way, as of this recording. And so, but no, I'm gonna make those two ponies, and the way I'm doing it is, the Big Brother ponies I'm using as bases, their colors, their body colors are gonna be the same as their original counterparts, but their symbols have been wiped away, and then their eyes may or may not be changed, and then their hair is going to be redone. So, like, to me, that's like the next step up. So if you're ready to not fully repaint the pony, but you want to get more personality into it that's yours, that's the way to do it. And then you get into, well, I don't like the color of the pony that I've got right now, so I need to repaint it. That process is a little bit more involved. It depends on the pony that you start out with. And in terms of the pony that you want to use, by the way, you can use vintage ponies. You can use modern ponies. So I tend to use vintage ones that, like I say, we refer to them as baits in the custom painting, meaning that the pony is, it has age spots on it, or sometimes they have mold inside, which is nasty.
Yeah.
And you have to clean them out. Or like the ponies themselves, or like sometimes cats or dogs or other creatures or small children get to them and they get chewed on, and sometimes they'll be missing, and so that's where the customization process can get a little bit more complex.
Yeah,
is when you have like those kinds of marks and stuff, and sometimes if it's surface level stuff and you don't really like what's happened, like if it's really discolored the pony's body, you can repaint it. The eyes too, you can repaint those along with the body, and that takes more time and practice. Technique wise, I tend to use brushes that are larger at first, and then I narrow them down when I get down to the details.
Yeah.
So, and I water the paint down quite a bit to get a smoother surface. I learned this for, and some ponies I do better at this than others. Some ponies are harder to paint, actually. And I find that the G3s are tough because their legs are very hard.
Their legs are really close together.
It's so different.
I'm staring at the custom G3 Casey made for me, and I'm just like, man, those legs must have been hard.
The custom G3s that I've fully repainted have been the baby ones, and that's terrible. I hated doing the legs of those.
Yeah, the one I have is an adult, and the only thing that had to be painted on the legs were the hooves.
Mm-hmm.
And
because that was one where I kept the original body color for the most part.
Yeah, because having a pink pony, turns out it's not that hard to find a pink pony.
Yeah, right. And that's the other thing too, though. Like, if you don't want a pink pony, like, you can always, or let's say that's all you've got are pink ponies.
Yeah.
And you don't want a pink pony, then you have the option of repainting into whatever color you want, but that takes practice. It's very much like painting acrylic on a standard canvas, but instead you got slippery plastic vinyl. And so, I mean, for me, it's like I use gesso, and I use several layers of that, and then I'll use acrylic paint and water it down, and then slowly layer it. And so, like your Shrek custom, it's about the layers. The layers. Slowly, like an onion, you gotta add the layers.
Ponies have layers.
They do. And I think that's probably the next toughest thing too, is the hair too. Also the layering of the hair.
Mm-hmm.
Rehairing. I think, to me personally, I think some customizers love rehairing.
I do.
And for them, it's like it's almost like sewing. Yeah, I'm sure for you, is it like sewing? Like, it's that kind of repetitive motion, right?
Yeah, I feel like I'm terrible at painting, but I love doing hair. I did like last week. I rehaired like 2 ponies in one night. One was that custom Sundance, and the other one was like a restoration of a McDonald's one. But like I can do that stuff fast, but it's only because I have like the fancy tool for it and that kind of stuff.
I tried to hair a pony at his house, and I tried multiple times to get the first couple strands into the pony's head, and it wouldn't work, and I just handed it over to Casey, really frustrated, because it's the same as like punch needling for like
Right.
making rugs and stuff, which I've done, and I do that, but I couldn't figure it out on the pony's head, so I hate hairing ponies.
Yeah, for me, it's like I'm in between you both, where I feel that for me, like some days I can get into a rhythm, and it's like I have to really want to do it because it takes a lot of, I don't know, for whatever reason, the hair to me is like, oh no, the dreaded step. Because to me, I love the painting part. I love the painting part. I could repaint all day. If I mess up, whatever, I just repaint it. Like that to me is how I feel. But in terms of, I guess I'm less of a perfectionist in terms of that. When it gets to the hair, yeah, I think it's just maybe the punch needle aspect, the pain. It's like, I get poked, even with the tool, even with the rehair tool. I'll still miss, and then that's fun. But I don't know. I mean, so folks that are gonna rehair ponies, just watch out. You work with sharp objects.
Yes.
Little kids.
Please don't stab yourself.
Yeah, it's not. I wouldn't recommend it as a little kid hobby. Like,
no,
because you with pony stuff, people think like, oh, it's a little girl's toy, but like you gotta use sometimes you gotta use knives to loosen the neck seams. You gotta be careful with some of this. I've cut myself badly on ponies. It's like,
oh yeah, I've missed with the X-Acto a couple times. And it's scary. Like and also too, even taking the heads off can be hard too.
Oh yeah.
Like when you rehair, when you repaint, one of the things that you should do is take all the hair out, the old hair out, cut it off, and then take it out. Using pliers to do that takes a lot of upper arm strength, and then even popping the head off can be difficult to do. So, I don't know if you need a content warning before that, but content warning, we're popping heads off. But that's what you do. Like, behead the pony, take the head off. And some of them, you not only have to use an X-Acto to get the seam loose, but then you have to also forcibly yank the head free from the plastic. And some of the older G3s in particular, but some of the older G1s too, like they get hard. Like they get hard as a rock. The vinyl plasticization.
Yeah, there's some G1s that are really soft, and I can just yank their head. Like I do that with my skin baby Betty by Eye, which is I'll explain that. That's like a Betty by Eye I have that has like no eyes, no hair, no symbol,
no Mars. She's just plain skin color because. Which one do you think she was?
It's lickety split. It's lickety split.
Yeah, lickety split.
Because I know the person who she was custom bait, and I was gonna customize her, but I grew attached. Her head pops off real easily, but like particularly ponies that get like regrind, for example, or just the plastic changing over time, those can get hard as a rock, and I've cried over taking off pony heads.
Generally, the harder the plastic, the harder it is to get the pony's head off.
So there are challenges along the way. It's not just like, one and done. And I think that can be intimidating for some folks too. Like it's not like just Bob Ross, like just painting on it's not like a standard tutorial with paint. You're actually having to mutilate the pony. The skin baby's interesting because I'm thinking of the Velveteen Rabbit.
I'll find an image. I'll find an image.
I tend to think of that. I tend to think of that old story.
And I also think it varies depending on generation, because some generations, like, it's harder to get... I don't know how people do G4s, because the bodies are so small that I don't know how people... And, like, there are some ponies, like, I have a Celestia who I wanted to rehair, but I ended up immediately giving up, because, like, her wings are embedded into her body in such a way that, like, it's very difficult to remove them without breaking the pony. Like, there's just certain generations, certain pony poses that are very difficult to reverse engineer, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. I totally hear you. I've done that too. I customized, I think, only So I customized one of
Oh
those
yeah,
big
I was waiting
G-force-
for a good time to send
Oh,
it.
no.
I was waiting for the. I had that ready. I was waiting for a good time to send it, and then Casey just goes not without waiting.
Fantastic. That is fantastic.
Yeah,
Thank you,
that's skin baby.
I see.
I use her as a learning resource whenever people need to know about like what the inside eye sockets look like. So I'll that's why I keep her like that. Like she's a learning resource for people.
Oh, sure.
And you
Sure.
definitely don't just really like her.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, right. No, of course not. You know, she's got a perfect cute little bow around her neck, lovingly placed in the middle of the blanket. No, it's not your child. Not your child at all. Congrats. I. Oh no. Wait. I'm not the horse that's in your house. Although I did make your chaotic spotty, so I guess that kind of.
There's a horse at my house. Help.
But no, yeah, right. There's many horses in my house. There's too many horses in my house. I don't even know what the hell we were talking about.
I'm sorry I interrupted you.
This is why I was waiting, Casey.
No, this is fine. So we were talking about, I think, difficulties with
Yes.
it, right? And also, G-force. Okay. So I have done, now that the train has righted itself, I have on the track. So, like, G4 ponies, custom ponies, yes, those are extremely difficult for me too. I've struggled with making them, and I want to share a couple of them with you. It turned out okay. I have a horrifying custom that I never shared with anybody. I think I sold it actually on Etsy.
Oh wow.
But I did. I don't know how that happened.
People will buy little freaks.
They will. This is my scary freaky one.
Oh, it's on a fakie.
Oh, I
Yeah,
love
it's a
that.
fakie.
I love that though. I would buy that.
Yeah, it's this little. I think I named her like Jaguar Princess or something. And it's a
cute.
fakie. I got it at Toys R Us before. Rest in peace. Before Toys R Us left. The
Oh,
United
yeah.
States. And so.
I think fakies
Here
are
we go.
really
Here's a
good.
G4.
Are really good to practice on. Like my first custom was on a fakie, and I hate that custom. It turned out terrible, but it was like good learning experience. But like fakies are good because you don't have the pressure of like, oh, I'm customizing a real pony.
So that one.
Oh, that's so pretty.
There's a G4, and then I have a couple more. It's a Katy Perry one. This one's called Hummingbird Heartbeat, which is a Katy Perry song.
Oh,
Before
nice.
she got canceled. So before she got canceled for coming back to Earth. Let me find. I don't have that many G4s.
Yeah.
I have more G3s than G1s. But yeah, that was the big problem that I had with G4s. Yeah, this one in particular, yeah, I really had to fight to get the neck separated because their neck plugs inside the head are so thick. It took a lot of that one. I think I definitely cried a couple times. Just to fight with it. I was like, come on.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to finish this pony, and it was just like, nope. This one is very sentimental to me. This one, and just as a heads up for viewers or for listeners or viewers, this is going to involve pet deaths. So if you're sensitive to that kind of thing, you may want to skip this section whenever this will be in the podcast.
I'll put a timestamp.
But this.
I'll put a
okay.
timestamp that
So
people
this-
could skip to.
Okay. So, but this pony and then the pet is after my pet rat. So I had a pet rat and his name was Charlie, and this is Rainbow Bridge, and she's my G4 pony.
Cute.
So Charlie was my little hooded rat. But customizing Rainbow Bridge was hard too, because like you can see, like the body I left the same, the eyes I left the same, but the symbol I changed, and then the hair was actually donor hair from other G3 ponies that I used for the G4. But rehairing that pony, G4s are so hard to rehair in their mane because the the holes in their head are like so tightly spaced, and then there's so much glue
Oh
in the
yeah.
heads too. Like I know
they
G4s are,
have way too much glue.
and so this little pony too, like the symbols, it's so small.
Yeah.
And I refer to them as nose hair brushes, but it's like they're so tiny. You know, it's really hard to do the G4 ponies. I think those are my only G4s. I don't know. I've done so many ponies over the years. I might just like start looking through. But yeah. So G4s though, yeah. I tend to stick with G1s and G3s.
I think that's
But how the process starts though.
I think that's a general preference. Like, a lot of people prefer G1 and G3 for toys just because of their general size. And, like, people like the G4 toys, but, like, they're pretty small in comparison, so that adds to the difficulty of...
Yeah.
The custom,
I have a
sorry.
bunch that I have to customize, but I don't have the paint.
Yeah, that's the thing. Well, you can try and salvage it, like the paint, like you can try, but
I've tried, but I think all of it is just too far separated.
The one time I've used older paint, I regretted it because I painted the pony and then I put her head on and the paint cracked. It cracked like crazy, and I had to like paint over it with like the head and the hair on, and she had so much hair that like it was getting all over the place, and I didn't want it to get in the wet paint. It sucked.
Oh no!
But she turned out fine. We'll go into how customs are made. What is your process for like coming up with designs? Like, how do you get inspiration, or like do you brainstorm out designs and that kind of thing?
Yeah, so that's what I'm sharing right now. So some of these are illustrations that I've made. So usually when I customize, I will have a concept in mind. So I'll have some kind of idea, some kind of concept. You know, sometimes the concepts go through and then other times they don't. So usually I'll come up with some kind of concept, and then I'll do the drawing. And then I'll go from there.
So when you go from there, what are like the first steps you take in creating a custom? Like we kind of have already talked about like kind of the process, but like what do you look for in like finding specific baits or other poses, and like I know we talked a bit about like removing hair, paint, cleaning the body, that kind of thing.
Well, for me, I think it really depends on the pony itself and like the character that I'm trying to recreate, or maybe just like sometimes like with my pony Sona Chocolate Starfire, it was just the general pose of the pony itself. Like she was made from a G3 velvet bow. I'm gonna pull up a picture here in a second. But that pony, so that was really started from there, and then I thought it was around Christmas time, like holiday time, when they made that pony. And so for me it was like, you know, thinking about like campfires and thinking about, you know, fireplaces and warmth and, you know, roasting marshmallows, and in that fall winter season is when I got that pony. And so to me it made sense that that pony would be, you know, encapsulating that season. And so that's what Chocolate Starfire, that's why she has the color scheme that she does. And also too, because there's a coat color of actual pony called the Rocky Mountain. It's like the Rocky Mountain pony or something like that.
Rocky Mountain mentions.
And
I live in the Rocky Mountains, so.
Oh, nice. So but there's a pony that is bred for, you know, traveling in the high mountain areas, and that's basically, you know, the color scheme of the coat is chocolate.
Yeah.
And so I liked that, and so I took that concept as well, and I kind of blended it together when I made my pony Sona. And so sometimes the ideas are things that I think of. Other times, like with the Ghostbusters pony that you can see around the screen, like that pony, that concept I came up with, that was something where I was not happy with the Ghostbusters pony design by Hasbro.
Yeah.
At all. The Plasmane pony, I did not like that pony at all. I thought it was hideous. I was like, I want to redo this.
Yeah.
Even for a Ghostbuster bad guy, I was like, this is terrible. So I decided to remake, improve on that Ghostbusters crossover My Little Pony thing. So that's what I chose to do. And so I took inspiration from the Kenner Ghostbusters toy line. And I borrowed from also my ex's knowledge, because he was a ghost head. So his knowledge of Ghostbusters. And I like Ghostbusters too around, that season. So I pulled from that. And I made the pony. And so I actually sculpted on the jumpsuit onto the pony itself instead of doing soft goods. So I chose to go that route instead.
Yeah. And what was that process like with, like, were there any, like, specific clay types that you use, or, like,
Yes. So I use what is called DAS clay, DAS, and I also use, actually, Crayola Mono Magic.
Oh, yeah.
I use a combination of the two. And I try to avoid Sculpey, because Sculpey is not air drying.
Yeah.
Sculpey is, so you have to bake it. I've done that in the past, and it was successful on a past pony that did, the Indiana Jones pony, the Mark I Indiana Jones pony that did years ago.
Yeah.
But that pony, that was, I mean...
Not a good idea to
this
mix
pony
ponies in heat.
No. I was thankful that I didn't melt him in the oven when I made him. And that was when I was living with my parents, younger.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh no. Nowadays I'm like, oh no, I absolutely cannot, wreck this oven. It does not technically belong to me. So, that's the thing too, is like, I did air dry clay for that reason.
So, some people use, like, dyes instead of painting the body, and I feel like that kind of looks like a tricky process, because, like, dyeing is less consistent. Like, you gotta, it's very dependent on which colors you use, how long you stick the pony in the dye, that kind of thing. It might not be even, yeah. So there's, like, pros and cons to, like, painting versus dyeing versus other techniques.
Right. And I personally, in the past, I tried using dye, in terms of, like, the body itself.
Yeah.
And I personally, I don't like doing that. I find dye to be very messy. And
Yeah.
I'm going to share with you my very first custom pony. This is, I think, Remember When It Rained Josh.
Yeah.
There he is. His hair is dyed.
Oh, yeah.
This was my very first custom, because I didn't want to take the hair out. I didn't know how.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have the tools to do it. And so I literally dip dyed this pony in Rit dye for like an hour, and it was black Rit dye, but the hair came out purple, and it didn't matter, how long I dyed that hair.
Oh, that's
it
weird.
stayed purple. And
That's
so
weird.
I just was like, okay, he will have purple hair. That is his fate. He will no longer have beautiful black hair. Sorry, Josh Groban. And this pony is still in my collection to this day. But, dye has never really worked for me personally. I know that there's some customizers that I've seen and worked with in the past that have made some fantastic pieces with dye. But I don't like using it on bodies and stuff, because it doesn't stick.
Yeah.
It doesn't last. And unless you're doing something like dyeing the vinyl of, like, a glitter pony,
Oh, yeah.
it's not really something that'll stay. It's not, yeah.
And I also think
And they
it might be
fade.
able to leach onto other ponies' plastic. I've heard of that happening.
Mm-hmm. Or one thing that's also frustrating too is, like, I can never wash this pony's hair.
Oh, yeah.
I can brush it, but no, if I wash it, like, even all these years later, there's gonna be dye that comes out. So if I'm gonna clean this pony, he has to go separate. Because, it's just not ideal. I think that the only medium that works for me that I've used consistently over these years is acrylic paint.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty standard. Are there any other like types of materials that you like using? Like some people use glitter. I've seen people use like decorative jewels or flocking on customs and stuff. But is there anything that you particularly like using?
Oh yes, I have done all kinds of stuff. So my pony, the Lord of the Rings pony, which by the way, some of these ponies are for sale. The Ghostbusters pony, this Lord of the Rings pony that I'm sharing, all of these are actually for sale in the My Little Pony trading post. So if you're interested, this is the Lord of the Rings pony. This is a Hobbit hole.
I'll put a link.
Yeah, thank you. But this I made with a combination of media. So I used a sticker that I bought off of Etsy, and I'm really sorry I do not remember who originally made the sticker. I'd love to give them credit. I don't remember. I bought this so long ago that I don't remember. But the little Hobbit hole itself, I made out of clay, air dry clay, and then the little roof, I covered that in green grass flocking. And so there's flocking that goes on the top of that. So I use a combination of materials sometimes, depending on the pony. Aside from that, I don't usually. So some folks are good with flocking ponies, like they do a full body. Not me. Oh yeah. No, this was the extent of it, and I got frustrated with it really fast. So kudos to people that do that. That is not for me.
Flocking is
like
difficult.
This, yes.
Flocking. I've done.
A mess.
I've done flocking to like I've had soft ponies that had their legs chewed off, so I re-sculpted their legs and reflocked them, and sometimes it turns out okay. And I have a custom in my Interstellar set that is a flocked pony, but I hate the way it looks in real life. Like, it looks better in pictures than it does in real life, because it's just the problem was I ran out of flocking halfway through. So like, I feel like it's one of those things you've got to practice with and get a real nice even coat for it to look good, but it's difficult to get it like it's just difficult.
Yeah, and then in terms of like other stuff in the past, I did years and years and years ago, I did a swap, like a goddess swap, and I did the goddess Morrigan, and which is very fitting for me because I love, that kind of the symbol is like the raven or the crow.
Oh yeah.
And they had like jewels on the forehead. So let me see if I can find it. So, but yeah, I mean, so there's that, but I've made so many. Like, there's this one that's got little butterfly wings on the back, that I bought, like, little butterfly, that I bought, like, from a dollar store or something like that, and I used that as, like, flutter wings. I've done that. I've used, like, just, like, I swear, like, just odd, like, random, like, craft materials will potentially become, like, my part of the pony. So this happens sometimes. Not very often. I would say that, a lot of times, my customs, if I do have pieces, like this one has a partially sculpted symbol, and unfortunately that fell apart over time.
Oh no.
And he was remade into Bumblebee, a Transformers pony. But, I mean, that's usually what I do, is I usually will sculpt things. Sometimes I'll add gemstones, but for the most part, I tend to... Oh, there we go. I have so many ponies over the years. I'm like sifting through like 10 different files. You do not see this like I'll use flat back gems sometimes to decorate the ponies. I'll put that on. This is like a little headpiece that I made for this pony. Sometimes I'll do things like sculpt portions of clay, pieces. The Ghostbusters ponies actually have their own car. They have the Ecto 1. So, I mean, there are times when I have, added on and created stuff, but usually, and there's times too when I do like fabric stuff, like with Indiana Jones, I made his leather jacket.
Oh yeah.
I made the fedora, I made the hat, I did the whole thing. That was difficult too because I don't sew very well. So that was an adventure. So yeah, I mean, there's times when I make these ponies and I'll come up with this stuff and then in the end, sometimes I regret it. Like, I'm like, what did I do? Because it's a huge challenge. But I mean, it's fun. But I can definitely see the flaws. The pictures came out better, like yours. The pictures came out better, but in reality, I can see all those little missed stitches and flaws.
Oh yeah.
But yeah.
But
it's fun.
I feel that. I love sewing clothes for ponies, but I'm the weirdo who likes sewing. So I actually have like patterns for that kind of thing if people are interested in them. But like I enjoy when people add like customized like accessories and stuff suited specifically for a pony, because it kind of adds to like, because the most standard thing is the body and the hair. But if you go further with like extra accessories, it could just kind of make it even cuter, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
I ate 2 donuts while recording this, and they were so fucking good. And I have more.
I'm gonna eat your donuts.
They're apple cinnamon. Do you want one?
Sure.
Okay.
Nom 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 nom.
They're like a stick shaped. They're really fucking good. They're
Thank
Little
you.
Debbie, so you know that they're fire.
Thank you for that. Thank you for putting it into
welcome.
my mouth.
You're welcome.
Alright, so the final section is gonna be the most fun section. And I'll ask us all to go, like, one at a time. Like, one person goes, the next person goes. But we're gonna get to talk about ourselves. First of all, are there any favorite customs that you've made or bought from other people that are particularly significant or special to you? Or what kind of customs you own? I feel like I don't have, like, too many customs, but I enjoy the ones that I have. I've talked before about my alien ponies, the Interstellars, which there's 5 in the set, but I haven't made them all yet. I've only made 2. I still need to get some baits for the other ones, but the ones I've done are pretty cool because there's a flocked pony and a glow-in-the-dark twice as fancy pony, and they're both kind of alien themed. And Extra Terra is the green one with like the pink stars on her, and I consider her my first real custom because my first trial and error custom was on a fakie, and I did not like how that turned out. But the first one I actually did on a real pony was Extra Terra, and I thought she turned out fine. So those ones are special to me just because they were my first custom set. I also really enjoy fandom-themed customs and ponies. I have a few Five Nights at Freddy's ones, which I'm going to find images of. Specifically of, like, their pony versions of the human characters from the game. But, and they were the ones I was talking about hating my life when I was painting their legs, because they are G3 babies. They're both made from Romper-Rooney bases. But they were both fun to work on. Cassie, I got to use some of the curly haired, because she has, like, curly, like, pigtails, and so I thought that was fun. And I had fun making her, she has, like, a bracelet and also these, like, purple beads in her hair, and I had fun finding those, but pony-sized. We've mentioned it a few times, but I have commissioned from you, a Sonic pony, a Chaotix pony, because the Chaotix are my favorite Sonic characters. I'm obsessed with them. And then I also have, like, custom rehairs that I've done. Not too many, but I'm very quickly making more of those, where it's just the pony I got had a perfectly fine body, but they had cut hair, and I was like, oh, this is my opportunity to give them a full head of purple sparkly hair.
That's so fun.
I'm currently, I've just gotten a big pony package in the mail today, and I've got a high flyer, which is this summer windy wing pony, with chopped hair, and so I'm gonna do purple hair again, which I feel like you could look at my customs and guess my favorite color instantly, and I feel kind of embarrassed about that, but that one's interesting because I'm gonna have to come up with a custom wing design. But yeah, those are my customs. I don't have a lot of interesting ones outside of that. I'm thinking for High Flyer, I have some really nice dark hair colors, like, dark purple, dark blue, and I want to do a mix of those.
Ooh, that'd be pretty. I have a billion ponies that I like, that I made in the past. But I wanted to share. So I got the Avatar, The Last Airbender set. I loved Avatar, The Last Airbender for a long time, and I would say that those are actually some of my favorites to make. Because I made Aang, who's bald, and his tattoos glowed in the dark.
Oh, nice.
And then I had Katara and Sokka, and then I had Zuko. And Prince Zuko was fun because I did the scar on his face. I did the short-haired version of Zuko. And it was fun because I painted the kanji as well, the symbols on their sides to represent the different elements.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Zuko said something along the lines of like fire, and Katara is water. So I think it's Chinese is what I did, and then Aang's is for air. I also made Toph, but I never finished her. And so whoever has these ponies now, you bought them off me on Etsy. Hi. I don't know what happened to Toph, but I never really finished her, unfortunately. But she was the Earth pony. And then Celine Dion, that's the gold pony here, the gold unicorn. This one because I love Celine Dion, I love her music. And I, watched the documentary about her recently, and kudos to her for continuing to sing despite all the hardship that she's facing with her body that just cannot control. And I think it's amazing that she's had a fantastic singing career all these years, just despite it all. So Celine Dion is definitely a powerhouse in the music world, and I love music. So a lot of my ponies are actually, if they're not based on like video games or cartoons and stuff that I like, they're also music related to something.
Yeah.
And so that's usually where I tend to go. Also too, because when I was younger, I was a musician. I was a violinist for many years, and I listened to all kinds of music. But in particular, I loved pop ballads and rock ballads and classical music. So to me, like Celine Dion, like incorporates all that together. So I made her a pony, and then the Sonic pony, of course, the Sonic movie ponies. I love the Sonic movie 3 very much, and I also love Sonic Adventure 2. And I felt that these ponies definitely were really fun to make. I love the Sonic movie ponies so much. And then they are posing with their Jack specific counterparts. I also have a few in my collection. I don't, it's funny because I don't really collect. There's so the majority of the customs I'm sharing with you now, like they're technically still in my collection because these are ones that I made for myself.
Yeah.
But I don't really have that many that folks have given to me over the years. I have some that I've had from swaps and things. I'm going to share with you, but some ponies, I have, this one is my Aphrodite pony. So this is the pony that I got from the mythology swap. So I made my swap partner.
Oh, pretty.
I made my swap partner Morrigan, and then I got this in exchange. And I don't know who this artist is to this day. They're on the My Little Pony Arena, or they were. Their name is Leah. So if Leah made this pony for me, and thank you. I don't know where you are, if you're even in the pony community anymore, but thank you so much for that. I have this one that I got off Instagram, and this person used to be called Laklana's Vintage Toys, and they made this pony. It's a ghost, so it's the Happy Ghost pony.
Oh, cute!
And I won this. I won this in an auction, and I love her so much. She is beautiful. I love her hair. I can never do hair like that. I love collecting ponies where people do wonders with the hair, and I'm just like, gosh, and the little bow too. Let me show another pic of this pony because she is a stunner. I really love this.
The
one.
cutie mark on that pony reminds me so much of There's a Sonic YouTube video by the Sonic official channel, like TailsTube, and there's one where they're telling ghost stories, and Knuckles tells a story about a baby ghost who has no feet, and the image they use for it reminds me of that. I'm just reminded of the baby ghost that has no feet.
I can scare you in one sentence. For sale. Baby shoes. Never worn. Because the baby's a ghost and has no feet.
Yeah. Yeah. That's, you know what? That might be her new name is Baby Ghost with no feet.
It's like the joke of Knuckles is like, I'm good at telling ghost. He's like, I'm good at telling ghost stories. Here's one that'll scare you in like 2 sentences. For sale, never worn, baby shoes. Because the baby's a ghost and it has no feet.
Oh my gosh.
And he's really excited. And then Shadow says the story is terrible. And Tails is like, no, I liked it.
Oh, Tails, he's trying to be supportive.
When Shadow says that the story is terrible, the little ghost gets sad.
It frowns.
Oh. So, speaking of sad, there is one more custom I'm going to share with you before I let Saturn have a turn, and that is my Amy Rose pony. So this was made for me in the Sonic swap years and years ago.
Oh, Lady
Yeah,
Ninu.
this poor pony, unfortunately, yeah, she did not make it over the years. Her dress has completely shattered and fallen apart. But yeah, so this was made for me. I don't know who made this pony for me at all. But she's got like this beautiful dress and everything. This is all handmade, all hand sculpted. And the sculpting on the pony itself, the Amy Rose portion of the pony itself, is still intact. But just the detail that's done by this other artist. That's usually what I like. I usually would do swaps with other artists in the past, or I do, or I'll collect ponies, like I say, that have beautiful hair, like stuff that I don't easily do. I tend to be drawn towards, and just wonderful art, and I like. It's funny because I don't really have an extensive collection from other customizers, but I hope that this is fun to share, and I hope that you'll like my customs all together. But yeah, so those are from other artists though. So Aphrodite, the Candy Ghost with no feet, and Amy Rose. Those are in my collection from other.
All of my customs are made by Casey. One is the first one I got is I own the second Extra Terra that Casey made, so I also have an Extra Terra. And then
Nice.
I also have a custom of my Pony Sona Love Bug that Casey made. And then I also a custom Shrek pony that Casey made. Because I love
the
Shrek a
pony.
lot.
That one was from a bait McDonald's one.
And then I haven't really made very many, but the two that I have actually made that I have to start over with because I'm not proud of them, but I still want to make the custom ponies. I just have to actually design them instead of winging it. Is I have 2 TF2 ponies because I wanted to make all of the TF2 mercenaries.
Oh wow!
And
I still think they're cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I can do better, I think. I have made a TF2 medic and TF2 sniper, and then I didn't have any of the materials to make the rest, so I only have these 2. And then kind of the lowest possible level of custom you can get is Wintermint, who is probably my favorite pony in my collection. She's just faded. She's just a faded Minty, but I looked at her and I decided you are your own pony and you are Wintermint's now.
Because her symbol color is so different. And
Yeah,
her hair.
I don't know. It's
And her
because she's
hair.
different.
Yeah.
She's not Minty. She's Wintermint's. She's different.
I
They're
like
sisters.
her a lot. She's very.
I also like her a
Okay.
lot. Yeah. I found her at an antique mall, and she was in a shelf with a bunch of other ponies. and it was like, oh, it's Minty, and then oh, she has blue markings. There's no pink.
Yeah.
And she caught my eye, and I just had to have her, and now she's Wintermint, since she's my favorite pony.
It was at the same antique mall that I like going to, and I had noticed her like a few weeks prior, and I was kind of tempted, but I was like, oh, that's weird. She's different colors.
So she's just a faded Minty, but now she's Wintermint, and she's my favorite pony in my whole entire collection, and she is my best friend.
Aw, that's so cute. I also, Casey, I really like your alien ponies. I was gonna share one more. I made an alien pony a while back.
Yeah.
But it's just purple. But
purple.
and I don't. Yeah. But I really like the one that glows in the dark too. That's cool.
Yeah,
the
Extraterra's
body
cool.
glows in the dark.
She scares me because I forget that she glows in the dark, and then I turn my light out,
I know.
and there's this distant glowing in my room, and I'm like, "Oh my god, what is that?" It's just my pony.
It's an actual alien who's decided
know.
to pay you a visit.
There we go. That's funny. Yeah. So that's so cool. I mean, I really love all of your collections too. That's so cool. I love how different all the ponies are too. You know, even the Wintermint, you know, being different from Minty. But this is a pony called Cosmic Candy. And her symbol is a UFO with a rainbow coming out of it.
Oh.
And really, she was supposed to be like a pride pony too, because she's got the non-binary intersex color scheme.
Oh,
Because
nice.
that fits with me.
I
So,
love
yeah.
the glitter.
So that
love
is-
the glitter.
But she has, thank you. She has like, oh my gosh, it took me so many layers to get this much glitter. And then but this is, so Cosmic Candy, she sold right away on Etsy. I don't know who has her now, but yeah, she, and then the hollow tinsel, I liked using it, but it was difficult to rehair tinsel. I really admire customizers that deal with that. But yeah, I just wanted to share that one because, and I have so many ponies. I have so many, like, over the years. I have way too many. But this one, Mixtape, was kind of made similar to.
I love
Cosmic Candy.
Mixtape.
She's still available.
I know. I've been kind of
I love that
eyeing
one.
her. I've got to save money though, so I'm. But I got my eye on her.
I will say the one thing about Mixtape, for whatever reason, that blue teal color of paint, it never fully, like, it's dry, but it's tacky.
Yeah.
And so the hair tends to stick.
Extra Terra is kind of the same way. She kind of sticks to things.
And I don't understand why, because it's like I use sealant, and so I'm like, oh, but Mixtape is a similar to Cosmic Candy, in that I layered and layered and layered the glitter paint. Very 80s with the cassette, so she's fun. But yeah, I have way too many ponies. In fact, I made a whole YouTube video about it, and I am selling my ponies in my collection. So if you want to click on the link,
Yeah.
Much for
Let's do a quick
Casey,
plug. If you want to like plug your website, talk about like
Sure.
you sell customs, do that now.
All right, awesome. So I sell customs. I create customs. My webpage is Enchanting Customs, MLPs.weebly.com, and you can take a look at all the 20 years worth of customs that I've made. I'm selling some of those right now, along with some of the original My Little Ponies that are not customized that were in my collection. Some of these ponies I've had for well over a decade. They're very well loved, very well cared for, and I'm downsizing. So if you would like to take some of this original art home, or take home some original My Little Ponies, vintage G1 ponies, you are more than welcome to do so. Please go ahead and check out my website in the description. And I appreciate you for taking a look at my stuff and listening in and supporting me as an independent artist and creator. And I love the world of My Little Pony and, creating all this stuff. So thank you.
Yay! And then I don't actually sell any, like, of my customs or anything like that, so I have nothing to plug. Hello all, it's Editing Charm here. I realized I was kind of lying there. I don't currently, like, have a page to sell customs, nor do I do custom commissions, although, because I do enjoy making, like, custom rehairs and stuff, if anyone was interested in coming to me for a rehair custom or something like that, you are free to contact me at Charms Ponies on Tumblr or the Trading Post or MLP Arena. Any of those pages are great places to reach out to me. I just don't have set prices for that kind of thing because it's not something I've really done for other people before, but I am open to doing it if you have a pony you would like to be customized. But also, maybe not exactly custom ponies, but I have sold custom My Little Pony dresses before. Like, sometimes I will sew dresses and I'll sell them with extra ponies that I don't want anymore, and they're like customized little dresses. One that I've sold in the past is this really cute one with pink flowers, and I do have one of those dresses available now. It is a blue springtime dress, and it comes with a Generation 4 Pinkie Pie. And so if you're interested in that, I'll just drop a link to my eBay page below. So you can check it out. It's like a live auction, so just whoever bids on it first will probably get it, because people don't tend to bid on my stuff, but yeah, throwing that out there. Sorry for lying and saying I had nothing to plug. I do have stuff to plug, I just don't often sell pony stuff. Also, check out my website at charmsponies.neocities.org for a lot of My Little Pony resources for new customizers, for new pony fans, and any other blog posts related to pony stuff. Okay, thank you.
Oh, wow.
I also have nothing to plug.
That's fine.
Oh, okay. You can also, I can add my Ko-fi stuff in there too if you want to support me. I got a lot of stuff. I'm also creating a Dinosaur Fantasy comic series as a sequel to my Dinosaur Fantasy novel, Yora's Crossing. So the sequel is going to be called Yora's Ascendance. And if you're a fan of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, if you're a fan of Dinotopia and the Lord of the Rings, if you mix all these things together, you get my Dinosaur Fantasy world. And if you like all that stuff, you can find me online, dlpauthorautist.com. And you can also find me on my Ko-fi page, kofi.com/art/DLP.
Yay!
So that's like original stuff. It's not connected to Sonic or My Little Pony. I'm not open for Sonic stuff. I know some people are. I don't do that because, and I'm gonna keep my Sonic customers.
Yeah.
But some people do. Some people sell that kind of stuff. Sonic stuff is like kind of, yeah. I don't sell it because I don't want to get copyrighted.
Yeah. There's like some copyright issues with like just straight up selling fan art, but you know, that's a discussion we'll have another day.
Right. No, I know. I'll take another 3 hours, and I'd rather not.
Yeah, no. And the final question that I wanted to ask was just because I wanted to spread some love in the custom community. Like, we've talked a lot about, like, history of customs, how customs are made, the type of customs we like. So I wanted to ask, are there any other custom creators that you are a fan of? Like, do you want to recommend some custom creators, some other people who, like, make custom ponies, for our viewers to check out?
I would say, I believe I mentioned a couple of folks earlier, but I think one of my favorite customizers besides Locklana Vintage Toys, well, it was Pink Kitty Winks. I don't think their website is working anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also Love Laura Land. Still makes ponies. And I know that there's an artist called Griffin as well. So Love Laura Land is on the My Little Pony arena. And I know that she's a customizer that I've always really liked. I'm going to send her DeviantArt or Facebook page here. She has a customs Facebook page. She's a fantastic artist that I highly recommend. And she's got a spooky thing here to her page. There's that. And then, besides Love Lauraland, in terms of
yeah.
artists that are, yeah, she's fantastic. I love her work. And then Griffin as well, also on DeviantArt, also on My Little Pony Arena. Those two artists, I think, are the ones that I followed for so long, for so many years. There's also Starbright Sprinkles, I think, on the My Little Pony Trading Post.
Mm-hmm.
But those artists, I think, are the ones that come to mind for me. I don't remember what Starbright Sprinkles, what her name used to be. Because a lot of these artists, they change their names and then you can't ever find... I'm looking all over and I'm like, no, where is your stuff? But I would say...
Oh, no, I have
I would
Starbright
say
Sprinkles website. I have it right here.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yes. Cool.
So, like, there's that, too. Those two things, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And Starbright Sprinkles has, like, a distinctive, like, eye painting style, I would say. Like, that pops out to me, but, And, looking at, like, Love Lauraland's customs, I see a lot of, like, really pretty autumn themes, like, autumn leaves, fall, like, type of colors just popping out at me.
Yeah, and then, because I'm looking at the My Little Pony Arena, too, and there's an artist called Kaylin that's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if they have, so there's an album, there's an album of their art. So Karen Tremblay is their real name. Here's their custom ponies too.
Oh, pretty.
So yeah, they do fantastic work. So they also do a lot of high-end, like, sculpting. There was, like I said, like, I think Griffin for a while did sell their customs, but I don't know if they do anymore. Hawan was their name, that's right. So Hawan, they changed their name to Griffin recently. But let me try to find their stuff too, because their art has inspired me for a very long time with customs. I mean, they've been online for a long time.
This person is like someone I've met on the trading post, so I don't know how long they've been doing it. It might be more recent than those creators, but one person who I love their ponies is Peeper's Ponies. They have like a lot of like dessert themed ones, like a lot of ones that look like ice cream, or they sculpt on extra like they sculpt on to their backs like chocolate syrup and sprinkles and cherries on top and stuff like that. And they
Yeah.
I love their jack-o'-lantern baby Betty by Eye pony so much. It's one of my favorite customs.
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah. They're a fantastic artist. Wow.
Yeah.
I've seen their stuff. Yeah.
I really want one someday.
They're following in the hoofprints of Love Lauraland. Because Love Lauraland did that, I think, for years and years and years.
Mm-hmm.
With theirs. Where they would do like all the beautiful like dessert themed ponies and stuff. Yeah.
Another one that I think is prominent is Moonbreeze, because they did a lot of G2 customs. And I feel like you don't see that as much as G1 or G3, but they did a lot of really pretty G2. This is the same person who has the Lavender Lagoon G2 website, I'm pretty sure.
I've heard of that website too. Oh
Yeah.
wow, look how pretty.
Yeah.
Oh, there's so many.
But that's who I think of whenever I think of G2 customs, just because they do a lot of like other generations but as G2, but like they do them really well. And those are the artists I wanted to recommend. Woo!
So like I'm very old school. I'm very much, and I wonder if Akerin, like, I don't even know, some of the artists that I knew, they don't even exist anymore, like in terms of like their online presence. I don't even know if they're in Pony World, like. But this website I want to share with you before we stop, because this website, in addition to the Dream Valley website, this was one of the first ones that I found.
Oh
that actually inspired me to start customizing in the first place.
Oh yes.
Because she'd have a Pony of the Month, and just like the gallery, just like so many like designs over the years. Like, yeah, just I really loved. One of my favorites was African Sunset, which I want to share with you. Let me share it here.
Yeah,
it's absolutely gorgeous.
I definitely recognize this person just because they made a lot of like the early guides for customizing. So I found a lot of those because I like compiling resources for people. Yeah.
Yeah, that for me was like, that was the one that really pushed me to like do better with making, and still today, you know, I mean, just the quality, I mean, is amazing. Yeah, they started customizing, 2003, like, yeah, way back in the day. Way back. You go look at their website, it's like all the way back to like a while ago. They even had a Windows Pony. I know that, there was another customizer, Retro Geek. Retro Geek did a custom on the Commodore 64. And Retro Geek's customs also are cool to me. I don't know if you've heard of them before.
I've heard of them because people talk about their YouTube channel a lot.
Yeah, so they do some really fantastic pieces too. They did one just recently on the Retro Geek also, I think, is one I want to add. Because they do some really awesome tutorials on YouTube, and also I love watching their videos too when they put the ponies together. It's just so soothing, like just to watch them, like the way that they blend the ASMR with the music and stuff that they choose too. It's not like too much ASMR, you know?
Yeah.
It's actually, and there's a story that goes with the ponies too. So I really like Retro Geek Crafts on YouTube.
I know that one of their recent customs was like this gorgeous Van Gogh one. Am I correct that was them?
Yes. Yeah, that was them. Yep. The Van Gogh pony, and then also, so I'm going to share this one with my Akron, but it's similar, where they also did a Commodore 64.
I love that.
So I thought of this one immediately. I was like, oh my gosh, I've seen that design somewhere. And I was racking my brain thinking, where have I seen this? I was like, no, this is so nostalgic for some, because Akron came up with it. The Windows Pony.
Yeah, I love that.
Retro Geek did one of the Commodore, and I was like, what? So I saw that, and I immediately brain blasted to 2006. And, you know, just amazing. It's funny how these designs, too, like, it's funny how similar, like, the designs can be, like, all these decades later, right? Like, you know, you think, all artists, we like to think of ourselves doing original pieces, and you find out, like, you're like, wait a minute, no, somebody else did that. Like,
originality is pretty dead and hard to come by, but like, you can still do things your own way. Like, there's nothing you do is ever gonna be 100% original, because you are influenced by everything around you, and humanity's existed so long that like, there's no way to come up with something that's 100% original, but we can try.
Right. So yeah, it's this was a lot of fun. I've loved sharing this time with you both, and having fun sharing, reminiscing on ponies and web rings and all that stuff. And
yeah, thank you for joining us. I was happy to have you on today. And final thoughts. Thank you for joining us. And I hope that for our viewers, I hope that you guys enjoyed listening to us talk about customs today, and I really do hope you guys check out some of those custom creators. I hope maybe this inspires you, some of you people who, like, maybe you've been interested in customs, but you've never actually, like, branched out into making them yourself. Give it a go! Give it a whirl! Maybe we should do, like, some kind of, like, call to action challenge. You listening, if you have like a old pony that like is maybe like a little dingy, maybe has like something up with her, give her new life, give her new something fun, and I don't know. I gave up halfway through that sentence.
Okay.
The best call to action ever made.
There you go. Yes. Make her your own, make her stand out, make her Easy breezy, beautiful cover girl. That's what you got to do.
Tag us.
Um,
Tag us. If any of you guys listens to this and you're inspired by this to make a custom, and then you make a custom, tag me on Tumblr. I don't have any other social media. Tag me at Charms Ponies, and I will share it on a future episode.
Well, that is fantastic.